Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propagandacast Shadowverse episode with me, your host, Imperial Dane. Today's deck will be Burn Rune. A rather aggressive deck, which has certainly been around for some time and certainly seen some changes here, though, for Dawnbreak Nightedge, since, well, it did lose some of its cards, but overall most of the core cards are still about. Wizardess of Oz, Mutagenic Bolt, Master Mage Lever, and so on. In fact, there's quite some time before they rotate out, roughly half a year. Overall, it's basically an aggro deck, but with more emphasis on doing sort of, burn damage or spell damage. Basically, it's damage out of hand without necessarily utilizing so much in your follows. They do have follows that can do plenty of damage. Magic Illusionist for certain decks can be quite difficult to deal with. They can just sort of keep popping up. Mage of Nightfall, very good ambush following, so dealing some extra damage. Halo Golem, good for extra damage. Wizard as well, of course, is one of the core cards. Can draw your full hand if you sort of already expended it, or could just be used to really make some of your more powerful spells and also expensive spells really cheap, so you can just, for example, chain them out in one go. And you got stuff like Master Mage to just ruin your opponent's board, and Chain Lightning to just sap your opponent out of existence if it comes down to it. Grand Summoning can also be, a bit of a frustrating, plus it can also buff your board if you got one. So there's a lot of utility here. New additions being Beastface Mage, since Dwarf Alchemist rotated out, so you got less card draw in that sense. And then Summoning Drills is a new addition, since you also lose Piercing Rune amongst other things. But this basically gives you Guardian Golem, can summon a Scrap Golem when expended. So that can actually have some advantages, can allow you to set up some with a Levi, which your opponent can't easily remove right away, which in certain circumstances is really powerful. Overall, the deck performs better when going first, but even going second, you sort of pull a right hand, it can do alright. It does pretty well versus mid-range sword, because mid-range sword tends to rely on its followers on its board, in senses just heal up in quotation marks, because so you can ward up and that way protect. The problem is, Burn Rune burns his way through that, so mid-range sword is rather vulnerable to them, particularly if you get to go first and mid-range sword gets to go second, and you get a good hand. Mid-range sword can usually end up in a lot of trouble. Summit Haven, again, depending on the situation, you actually tear it down, but it has much bigger followers, plus it occasionally does carry some heal, can get some up trouble, plus if it sort of gets over a good hand, it can run you down very fast if you're not careful, so that one has a few potential issues as well. So let's give the deck a go. And here we'll be up against Shadowcraft going first. That's good for us, as long as our hand doesn't break, which is one of the slightly less amazing things about Burn Rune. It can brick, since it does rely on a lot of pieces work together, so there's several ways you can brick. Either you don't put enough Earth Sigils, you don't put enough Earth Rights, or it's something else entirely, in which case you're sort of buggered. Or you just draw too many of your late game spells, in which case your hand also does nothing. So it's a bit of a particular deck. Goblin out would indicate mid-range maybe. Certainly not Resurrection. Shadow, which is I think one of the more popular archetypes at the moment. Alright, not quite what I was looking for. We'll take it, I guess. Looks like our opponent, though, is not having an amazing hand either. Wow, this is going well. I'm just pulling almost all of my spells of the higher art, or higher kind, which is not quite what I was looking for, to be honest. Not quite what I was looking for. I was kind of looking for anything, mostly in between the two, but guess we'll have to somehow work our way through with this. Yeah, this is definitely mid-range. Skull Ring is not running Resurrection. And this is going to get, I think, a bit ugly. Oh! I'm pulling ahead here, doing most damage. He's going to have to spend some resources clearing up my board. I've essentially got initiative, and whatever he gets to take a round, I can sort of just begin mutating. Wow! That's a new one. Orthrus. That's new. Huh. That slightly changes the mathematics of this a bit. Yes, I am now not entirely sure what it is I'm up against. Just gonna sell board. Well, I'm trying to figure out what on earth I'm up against, because I have literally no clue. Well, again, I think it's mid-range. It could be some kind of more aggressive mid-range. I mean, there's some attempts there, I suppose, pulling out, but like authors is normally not right. Usually it's now it's Ceres or something like that, but except we got Orphus. And he got a bit unlucky there. His skeletons can't do anything, pulled it. And I don't think that was the best move, to be honest. I think I'm just gonna that one grand summoning gives me a fat board and allows me to deal 5 damage. He has to summon, clear out the board, and whatever he does end up building a board with a just mutagenic bolt, in which case it's gone forever. Wow. That's definitely some kind of mid-range deck, but it's definitely more aggressive back Kappa. So they're definitely some who's focusing, I suppose, more on the token approach, much more heavily. Sort of tempo-ish Shadow, I guess, maybe? Not entirely sure how to categorize that one. It's just so foreign and strange. Definitely not used to seeing this. Well, we got Wizards of Oz. I just need a decent utilizer because while I got 2 mutagenic bolts, they're not really useful without anything to, well, bolt up. So I kind of hope he makes some kind of decent play and just sort of zap. Well, I think we're just going to mutagenic bolt. Will we do this? Will Levi? Burn! Master Mage Levi would later be arrested for arsony. Arsony. Idiot. Me, that is. Arsony. It's just arson. Oh, that's stupid. But yeah, I'll win here, I win. I just Wizards of Oz, mutagenic bolt, chain lightning, and GG. Like, Wizards of Oz is such a powerful card in the deck. And there we go. I win. Boom! Victory! Swordcraft, going first. I just hope I draw a decent hand. If this hand bricks, I might as well not bother. And again, that's one of the main risks about Burn Rune. It slightly needs to all fall together and, you know, not pull all your big cards. All of your Oz's in one go either, in which case you're rather in trouble. In a lot of other situations though, you're pretty powerful because your opponent can't stop you once you get going. Alright. Got nothing for turn 3, I got for turn 4, 5 and 6, which is grand, but nothing for turn 3, which is less grand. That's kinda rubbish. On the bright side, he has nothing for the first 2 turns. Yeah. Time to Halo Golem it up. Down to 15. We got a 4-5-3 threat on the board. mean, he's probably put a Queen Magnus, the black one, into the sand because that helps it out. Oh, colour me surprised. He actually went for that. Colour me surprised. Well, summoning drills sets up nicely for Master Mage Levi and Witch's Cauldron. But he actually went for the white one. Versus, you know, Rune, you generally want the Black Queen to help protect you against all the spell effects. I mean, the White Queen is useful, but less useful in this particular matchup. That's another less than good trade. Since now I can basically clear the entire board with Levi, he should have used this one because at least that way, Celia would not be quite as combustible. Instead, now I got a 4-4 and a 0-2 with Ward, and he's got nothing. Right, that's good. Which case, do this. The important thing to keep in mind is he's only got one of those, so even if he plays out one of the things, I'll have to put him down to 3, and that can finish him off with the Halo Golem next turn. Because Sword has really, really little healing. Really little. Very little. So at this stage, I've pretty much won. Like, he can King Arthur for all he wants. Apparently, has drawn most of his stuff anyways. But it doesn't matter. Dead. And off we go. Shadowcraft. Alright, that's looking like a pretty solid curve. 1, 2, 3. Sigils and rights. Blend it. Not pulling too many things in the wrong timing. We'll have to see what he is. Could be aggro, could be vengeance, could be some kind of OTK. Dark Feast Bat. That's looking like vengeance. I mean, some aggro decks run it, but imagine you would have had a 1-drop if it was aggro. Maybe not. Huh. That's a first. I've not seen that particular variant before. I've not seen that particular variant before. This is a bit awkward. This is a bit awkward. Well, my pride is going to be taking care of that one because that one can snowball. I fear anyways, and right now I really need Oz or something like that. Wait, what is he? Make up your mind. Did he just do that? Alright. I mean... Be my guest. Be my guest. So he's vengeance bats? Some sort? This just gets weirder and weirder. It doesn't really help with the fact I'm just pulling not the cards I want remotely. So he's right now aggressively expending his hands. Very aggressively. Levo right now being nice, very nice. This, on the other hand, is less nice. On the other hand, the problem is if I mutagenic bolt this, you can just sort of hit face with something, most likely kill me. Right, let's just hope I pull what I need next turn and he doesn't kill me. But he's just expended most of his bats, so should be able to finish me off, I hope. No, that just put him below most of his sort of reach, so he shouldn't be able to finish me off. Nor does he have a way of clearing out my board either. So with this, I should be winning. He's got 6 damage, he's only got 9 health. He can clear out the Beast Face Mage. He can actually clear out my entire board. That would mean he only got Baphomet left, which means that one's hanging out in the open, Mr. Old Blood King. Huh? But why would you do it like that? Why would you do it like that? That was just weird. But the Staff of Whirlwinds took them all down, despite the weirdness. Despite it being really, really weird. I mean, what is his plan here to finish it off with? Yeah, that's not going to help you. That's not going to help you. She can be as kind of queen as she wants to be. Burn Rune doesn't care. There we go. And there we go. A brief example of Burn Rune in action. At least how it looks now. I have a suspicion it might need to slightly trim off some of the top elements. Right now you have a large risk, I feel, of just pulling all of these cards a lot of the time. And while, you know, Watson Levi's risking also all the spells at the same time, I think does bring some issues. So you might want to sort of slightly buff up here and sort of become a bit more aggressive than right now. We're sort of slightly edging towards sort of tempo mid-range, but isn't quite there either. So I think sort of a bit more aggression here with the Burn Rune might just be able to sort of carry put, I think, more consistently now through. It's not again it's bad, but at the higher levels it does again risk breaking, I think, a bit too often for my tastes. But Osman again, strong deck, can definitely take on mid-range sword, can also threaten a bunch of other decks. So again, it does have that rather uncomfortable risk of just breaking hard in one way or the other, which again is sort of the demerit to this deck at the moment. But always, again, it has a lot of other benefits to it, which amongst others is it's pretty cheap. It's got a few legendaries, some golds, and always it's just bronze and silver. So in many ways, it's a pretty cheap deck, and that's the ultimate reason to get into it and can take on a large chunk of the meta. Partly because not a lot of decks are running healing, and some of the decks that count it are basically decks that are aggressive, because Burn Rune as such is really weak if it has to defend. It's really good when it's attacking, but it really struggles if it has to defend in many cases. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment, share it with your friends, not your enemies though. This is Imperial signing off, and see you all in another 2 days time for another exciting episode of Shadowverse. Cheers.